Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My wonderful guest joining me today is Lisa Andria, a podcaster herself. But what we're going to be talking about today is, are you okay with your vulnerability? She says, living your unique purpose and passion and being okay with vulnerability in that process. She's lived her life being afraid of being herself, fear others were not like the real her, being bullied as a nerdy kid and feeling ugly and ignored. She was afraid to be her true self. She was a people pleaser, relate, and led an unhappy marriage, blindly working for a corporation for 41 years and unfortunately not loving herself. Once she hit that rock bottom, she realized it was time to go for a transformational journey. Her mission in life is to help women honor and prioritize themselves much sooner than it took her. And she's inspired to help women stop floating through life and lead them on a path where they honor why through self-discovery, healing old wounds, unwavering support for change, all the while taking a leap of faith in themselves. She is a transformational coach with ladies who leap coaching. And after experiencing her own personal transformational journey, Lisa dedicated to empowering women who are going from stuck, scared, and lost to confident, powerful, and reawakened. Her passion is to help women transform their life they are meant to live, both personally and professionally. I had the honor of being on her podcast, which will come out in May. You will see it on the bottom of her show page as well. And you are a beautiful, bright spirit. So I'm so glad that you found yourself and came back to life. So welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to have a great discussion with you. I love talking to you and,
Thank
and
you.
all of the light that you bring into this world. So thank you for allowing me to come on and share.
Light likes light, right? And that's the thing is when we illuminate ourselves, we shed light on the path for others,
Mhm.
right? And that illumination is part of the journey in life. And, we're from the era of that expectation, which some people are still in, and we're trying to break that cycle. Go and get a job or get a degree, get a job, 2.2 kids. I never worked that one out. Picket fence and you'll all be happy. Life will give you everything you want. Boulder Dash. It doesn't work that way because it doesn't take care of the soul, the spirit, the heart, the very being and essence of who we are. It's conformity. You've broken that conformity, but I agree with you. We need to help people before they get to our age to do it and do it earlier.
I mean, we came from a generation, I can speak to that, and just the end of the baby boomers in my case. We
Yes.
came from a generation where my mother said, okay, get a good job,
Mm-hmm.
work until you retire.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't stress to me, and I'll have to give her some credit on that, of it specifically having children and having a family. I made a choice not to have children, but part of it also was my physical body wasn't really able to have them. And I married someone who wasn't able to bear children. So I felt it was all fate in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But she did say that nobody was entrepreneurs that I knew of in
Mm-hmm.
my family. They said, you work for somebody else, you get retired, and that's when you do whatever it is that you want to do in life.
Yeah.
So I did not have that internal spirit. I didn't even understand what focusing on yourself, everything that I know now, what your values are, none of that came into play until I became much later in life. I didn't realize what was happening. I knew that I had wounds
Mm-hmm.
and things that came from my childhood, but I did not know how to fix it. And I did not know even what it affected in my behaviors and my actions and my
Mm-hmm.
feelings about myself. It's been a very enlightening journey just over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I started it back when I went through a divorce and I sat up, I think it was 2005 or so, where 5 or so. And I said to the husband at the time, I said, I don't know who I am.
Mm,
I've completely lost myself and I really want to find who I am. And I said, and I cannot promise that it's going to include you in my life. So that's when a lot of therapy and things like that. I didn't know about life coaches. I didn't know about a transformation coach. I just went to therapy because that's what you did. We went together, we went separate. And I know that that helped him and it helped
mm,
me. But in the end, by 2008, I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I
mm.
need to be on my own and not in this marriage. It wasn't, I was not in love with him.
No,
There were other
no.
reasons
You,
too.
you, you married again out of that expectation, or it looks on paper like a good fit, but it's the identity of who you are. And this question of who am I? I need to find myself, um, was treated and is still treated in some areas as who do you think you are? Stop being so selfish. Right. And it's like if we're not selfish, if we don't oxygenate ourselves, if we don't love ourselves, how do we know to love and care for others? It starts with us. We have to be the love, we have to be the peace, we have to be the light in order to help others and serve others. So, this whole thing of like, you're so selfish, you're so self centered, well, we do need to get that way. And I don't mean going down the narcissistic road. There's always boundaries to things. But if we don't pay attention to ourselves, what we're giving is the dysfunctional self to everyone else.
Yeah, and that includes your own family. If you have
Hmm.
children, you're teaching them through your own actions, whether
Yes.
you know it or not. And so if you're teaching them that I just put myself in the background and you have a daughter, then she's going to learn the same thing and repeat the same mistakes in life and not put herself first because that whole thing with the mask, right? You need to put
Yes.
your mask on first before you can take care of the child on the airplane. And
Yep.
that's so true. And again, they learn and by what you're doing, how you're conducting your life, when you show them that it's good to take time for yourself, when it's good to focus on what you want and need, and also being able to focus on what they need and your husband needs and or your family members need. You can do both.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
women and we do juggle a lot and you can do both, but you have to focus on yourself. You have to know what is your own purpose and passion and then you can show your family, your children that that's important. That is something that's important
Mm.
in life.
I have a 42-year-old daughter who unfortunately inherited my people pleasing and recently has broken up with a boyfriend of 4 years. And it's like I kept saying to her, it's too one-sided. It's everything that he wants to do, and her bending into the pretzel of what he wants to do, and like him never stepping out of his comfort zone and criticizing the work that she does. So if you're criticizing the work that she does, you're criticizing her, because that's a big part of her. And it's, now a lot of things have had a clean slate for her right now. And I said, beautiful. Here is a blank canvas. Be mindful when you pick up that brush and how you wish to paint it. Don't repeat old habits. This is the time to look at what cycles to break and what you want on your canvas for yourself. And it's that permission to do so because the universe has aligned, right? And we don't pay attention to that. And I think this is something we need to teach women, especially trust the inner voice.
The instinct.
Hmm.
And I'm going to say with your daughter and those that are listening that are going through that transition of reinventing themselves and
Hmm.
understanding that they need to heal those wounds, sometimes you need help too.
Yes,
Because a
yes.
lot of these wounds could be generational, like you were saying,
Hmm.
the people
Yes,
kind
oh,
of,
yes.
yeah, or before you were seven, and it could be something so simple, a simple phrase or something was said to you a couple times, and you
Mm,
stored it into your unconscious mind, and you believe that about yourself.
yeah,
Something that you did that someone said about you, you actually internalized it as that's what you are. You made a couple lies, and someone said you're a liar. So you believe that. I mean, this is things that you have to clear and be okay with getting help
yeah,
because you're giving someone the gift of being able to help you, whether it's a close friend or someone you're actually hiring as a coach or a therapist. Allow that time to focus on yourself and to help,
mm,
allow them to help you heal those wounds because otherwise it is going to be difficult. Your unconscious mind is very stubborn and stores things and wants to take the easiest path. And if the easiest path is a belief that you have about yourself, it's just going to keep doing it. And it is a little bit difficult, but once it's released, it's very quick to make that change. Yeah.
You can't insert new programming until you've deleted the old,
Hmm.
right? And very
Yeah.
often we don't know what that old programming is. Just over a year ago, I wrote my own memoir and I just let the fingers do the typing. And then my brother did the editing and he goes, "Oh, gosh, I didn't realize how lonely you were." And all the stuff that came out actually became almost therapy for me and looking at how I felt and what I've been carrying all my life. And it's like, oh gosh, this is definitely time to let that go. But half the time, we don't know. We don't know until someone opens that door, gives us permission
I
to
say that all
open
the
that
time.
door.
You've got permission to
Yes,
dream. Yes, it's
yes,
always permission,
yes.
which is weird because that's societal. That's
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. And why can't we dream? Oh, you got to be sensible. You got to be this. And no, creativity, innovation, all that is possible comes from a dream. And if not them, why not you? You have no idea what you're capable of, what your gift is to give to the world. Why are you denying it by trying to fit into this expectation that has made you so unhappy and that you don't even realize that you're carrying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the first things I do when I'm working with a client is I ask them to give me their dream day, their life.
Mm-hmm.
Write down from when you wake up to the environment that you're in, to the person you're with, to the backyard, to the car, to the job, and what you're doing and how you feel. And then I create a personalized manifestation recording for them. But a lot of women need permission.
Yes.
Well, I never thought of that. Well, let me
Mm.
prompt you, and you're asking the questions. And then I realized, well, they don't give themselves permission to
No.
dream. And
Back
they,
to being you're selfish, self-centered, right? No, you're
yeah, they
not.
think, oh no,
Yes.
I don't want people to think that I'm only thinking about myself.
Exactly. What would people think? Who cares? It's what, how do you think? How do you feel?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
that's the important thing in life.
Yes.
And we're only given so much time, right?
Mm,
Don't waste it on not feeling comfortable about being yourself, not feeling comfortable about dreaming what it is that you want. And, I can look back on my life and there were things that I know that I really wanted to do, and I know that I wanted to take that direction, and fears came in and stopped
yes.
me from doing it. And it's taken me a lot of years to forgive myself for making those decisions
Right. Oh God. Self-persecution.
because
Ah,
you made a decision based on what you knew at that moment, and that moment you
exactly.
weren't healed, and so
Hmm.
those wounds came up and that was it.
Yeah,
You unfortunately made those decisions, and you have to forgive yourself no matter how long it takes, because
exactly.
the universe had a plan for you, and probably that was not in the plan. So once
Mm.
you realize what your dreams are and you allow yourself to find your own purpose and passion, then you can change the trajectory and move into what you were meant to do in life.
What you
We
came here to do, right?
all have our unique talent,
Yes, yes.
all have our unique values, and everything is unique to us. We're a unique being. We are who we are because we were meant to be
Hmm.
this at this time.
Exactly. You're denying the very uh, presence and essence of the gift that you are, that is meant to be, contribution to this world, to help lift us up and elevate us to a higher plane, because we're still stuck in this very earthbound, earth expectation, earth dictation of what we should be. And we're not allowing our spirit and our heart and our souls to have the conversation and lift us up to a higher elevation. And the more we do that, the more we bring suffering into the world if we deny. The more enlightened we become and the more we step into our meaningful purpose, the more we've elevated our frequency to that of kindness, caring, and love, and the more we become the solution to the world.
I'll tell you, just with the last thing I spoke, I became emotional myself because it's been a difficult journey for,
Yes.
and coming from a childhood where I had a great mom,
Mm-hmm.
she was amazing. My dad had, some issues, but we resolved them later in life before he passed. But my mom was so loving and caring and wanted the most for me. But yet when I went into the schools, when I went to school, I was that nerdy smart kid
Mm-hmm.
and the bookworm and made fun of, or I was ignored. I was invisible. I always say I mastered the art of invisibility. And
Mm-hmm.
even when I had friends, those friends betrayed me in some ways, some of them, and picked on me. That solidified and stayed in my brain for so long. So I
And
felt
did
that.
it make you feel unworthy?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yes, yes,
And unloved,
yes.
not loving myself, because thinking if I was myself, nobody would like me or love.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did this whole contortion for so long to to make myself into what people would like so they would stay and be my friend. How exhausting that was.
No, I
It
know.
was exhausting. And at some point, I went through my learning process of the breakthrough sessions, this NLP, mental and emotional release, and the breakthrough session that I do with clients. I went through it. And when I got to the point where they got to the greater problem, I whispered, I don't love myself because I felt embarrassed.
Yes.
Everybody must love themselves, I'm thinking to myself. So you must be embarrassed that you don't love yourself.
Hmm.
No, there's no shame in that. A
No.
lot of people don't realize it, but they don't truly love themselves. And that's unfortunate, especially with us women and the things that we've experienced in life. That's where the healing is so important.
Yeah. And also where the healing is so utterly important in this time of history,
Mm.
because it's, that it is the suppression of the woman's voice again, the suppression of the woman's identity. And this is where we need to step up and stand out and make sure that we are, you know, owning our own identity, and nobody else has the right to dictate who and what we should be. And, we in the 60s, the burn your bra, but all that did was we put on suits to kind of match the male masculinity. We kind of became the male masculinity. And now it is the time for our femininity, and I call our common sense yang, our common sense abilities to ride together. And from that place of love and common sense, we're now going to be the solution that this world needs. But we need to rise up in ourselves and come together as women, because it is the era of woman,
Yeah,
despite
I've
what they
spoken.
may say.
Yeah, yes, thank you. It's coming. We are
Yes.
coming into our own at some point because when you challenge us, it wakes up our spirit.
Ooh, boy, does
Ooh,
it.
you have woken up
Don't
that
mess.
sleeping lion or whatever. I don't know. I think I've just made up a new phrase there. But I've spoken to a lot of women who actually coach executive women at higher
Mm,
levels. And I've read a lot of articles. This was not recent, I have to say, probably about 15, 20 years ago, where top level CEOs admitted that they
mm.
loved hiring women because
Yes.
we have an intuitive nature. We have a communication that
Mm-mm.
is so strong and actually taps into people's own inner personality to be able
Yes.
to rise them up so they do a great job and they are able
Mm.
to work with each other. So come on, women, we have an innate ability. Yes, we are good at what we do, and we
Yes.
can do so many things at once. We don't have to focus on one thing at a time. We are a huge asset to
Yes.
any corporation that we work for or to our own goals and businesses. Yeah.
It's the way we see things. We don't hone in on one problem. We're able to see the bigger picture. We're also able to delegate to the person that's best for the job. Right? You're good at this, you're good at that. I call that the orchestra. Each one of us is an instrument in discovery. And how do I play this instrument? I can play it beautifully soloist on my own. But however, when you join an orchestra, each in your own strength and harmoniously play together, we then transcend. And women know how to play together. Yes, you do have certain women with their egos, right? But we're not, that's too male dominant in that ego. What we're looking at is that feminine of nurture and support. But you can't give that nurture and support to others and build a team or build a group or build a community like that unless you are nurturing and supporting yourself.
And unless you understand human, let's say, emotional intelligence, let's
Yes,
put
yes,
that word
yes,
out
yes,
there.
yes.
Unless you understand emotional intelligence, which women, we instinctually
Mhm.
do that,
Yes,
how can you pull out the best from someone who's working for you even, or the best from someone in your own family or someone who is a friend, unless you understand emotional intelligence and you understand that person right to that depth of what is going to make them do the best job, be more
yeah.
effective, light the, let them shine. The thing that really gets me is when you have a supposed friend who says out loud that they want you to do good, but then when you start to shine, they start to do things and criticize you, so they dim your light. And
mm,
I led away. I purged a lot of that out in
mm,
2023 when I started becoming more aware, because again, you can transform
mm.
only if you're aware of how
Yes.
you are in the world, how the world is to you, how you interact, people interact with you. And once I became more aware, and sometimes the universe yells at you with an
Oh,
experience,
yeah.
but you're not listening to me, so I'm going to have this happen, splashed across the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and then you realize, oh my gosh, these people were not right in my life, because as soon as I truly started to shine and feel good about my life, they didn't want to be around me. They
Right.
wanted to put me down, and that was their purpose, was to put me down and make themselves feel better, which is total ego, and they're not even
Yeah.
realizing that. So I,
And,
I
and
had
yeah,
to
and
make
they
decisions.
don't realize it's coming from their own insecurity. It's
Mhm.
coming from their own pain. And sometimes it's like, well, if she could do it, I could do it if I put the work in. But I don't want to put the work in. I prefer being the victim. I prefer to have someone to blame. Right. And it's this when there's a finger pointing out there, it's their fault. They did this to me. There's three pointing back at you. Well, where's your accountability, responsibility, and your action? Because if you don't like what somebody's doing out there, how do you change so that your environment changes?
And I've learned that if you are in the right place, and if there
Mm,
is someone that you do look up to, that you want to learn how they did that, not putting yourself down because
mm,
you're comparing themselves to it, but actually going, I want to model myself. You know
yes.
what? Let me, if it's possible, right? Either you read books about really
Hmm.
successful people and you can model their behavior and what they did in life, or you can go to have a coffee with someone and understand that they're a little far ahead than you, and you
Hmm.
love to model what they've done and model their behavior. That's how all of these NLP and everything, they modeled successful people's behavior. You can do that yourself too.
Yes, exactly. And it's not comparison or competing.
No.
It's just seeing what they're doing that's working for them and adopting that same process to apply to themselves. It's not like, oh, I'm going to be like Oprah, I'm going to be like this person. They're taken, right? But what is it that they're doing that you admire so much? And how can you embrace that and integrate, incorporate it in your own journey?
And it all comes down to one thing. And I know this is something that Oprah said on an interview because I saw it, but I've learned even before I saw her interview, I learned about it through my own transformation, is you have to know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what your why is, what
Yes.
you truly want in life, then you cannot, or the universe cannot give you your how.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've struggled with even over the last couple of years, with all of my awareness, all of the things that I want to do. I'm literally making time for myself every day to journal and free write.
Yes.
What do I want? What truly do I want? It doesn't necessarily mean a lot of money.
No, no, no.
It could mean really solid, small group of women friendships that you can
Mm-hmm.
share and talk. I love having those inner
Yeah,
conversations.
yes.
It's just so rewarding. And that could be what it's about. And meditating on it,
Yeah.
and taking quiet time to listen to your inner self.
Mm-hmm. 100% there. We don't take the time. There is so much wisdom in silence, in
Mm.
stillness, right? But there's also, you start off with a why. Well, I want this. And then as you go through the journey of life, you realize, no, that was what the thought want. What the heart, soul, and spirit wanted was something different. But if you're willing to take the journey aware and in care, what you really are designed for, where you really, what you really want will be revealed. So it's not a dictation. Well, I want this. What do we all want? We want to be recognized for our contribution and who we are as a person, right? We all want to be loved and the ability to love. And we all want to feel secure in who we are. So you could start with a baseline of what you want, but what that looks like is a question of in the meditation, in the stillness, in the journey, right? And don't dictate, it's got to be like this and it's got to be like that. You're going to apply a lot of tools to yourself along the way. And this tool really works, and that tool, not so much. Maybe it will work better later, but allow yourself to be present and participate in your journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the experience of becoming.
right. That's right. And so taking the time every day, because like you said,
Mm,
you can shift, things can change,
yes.
your values can even change. And but taking the time every day to see, okay, where am I at?
Yeah.
Where do I want to go?
Mm,
Making sure that it's clear, because if you are just, I say it, floating in life,
hmm
you're not going to get to any destination.
Right. Right.
And it takes some work, folks. It really does. You have to set time aside to be with yourself, to think about where you're at and where you want to be and what you want to do. And whether it's as general as I want to help women, to not be stuck anymore, that's great. But get it deeper. What else
Yeah.
is there? Get more even, and I know get more specific in the sense that
Mm,
so you know that you're going to set some goals. Now you're
yeah.
really going to get into, okay, setting goals, being time specific about it, taking action steps a little bit every day towards that goal. It's not magic.
No,
I
it's
love positive,
process.
yep, it's a process. I love positive affirmations. I love manifesting.
Mm,
All of that is really good and it's very helpful. But what is it doing? It's giving you clarity. It's telling you you
mhm.
have a purpose and a passion and a direction that you want to go in, and you're reinforcing that through all of these activities.
By paying attention. But you said something that I think absolutely scares the bejeebies out of a lot of people, being at one with self.
Mm.
How many people, oh, I don't want to be with myself. I don't like who I am, or I go off on a chatter or this or that. And I think that's actually kind of one of the biggest challenges with people, because that's when the background noise come in. Who do you think you are? What are you? All of that comes in. And I say to that, okay, let it come in and look at it and go, are you serving me now? Is this serving me? Is this going to serve my path? This kind of thought. Thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to let you go. Don't try and numb what's coming up. Face it.
And don't keep repeating it in your head.
Right.
So I did a little TikTok thing and I said, when those negative thoughts start and then you keep repeating them, you have to, I do this little thing where I say, plug the hose.
Yes, yes, yes.
You can say it out loud by yourself if you're by, or you can just say it in your head, plug the hose, just stop those from happening. And now, if
Mhm.
you need to take another action for the healing process, that's fine. But just plug the hose because the more you think about it, the more your unconscious mind will continue to actually manifest it and make it happen. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't love yourself, okay, unconscious mind, I'm going to keep having you do things where you don't put yourself first because you don't love yourself.
Right.
You don't treat yourself as well as you would treat others. Yeah, that can't continue.
I used to, when I coached, was have people go through an exercise that every time a negative came up, you had to do eight positives.
Ah, I like
Right.
that.
And,
Yeah.
by doing the eight positives, you're feeding that energy. And then the negative doesn't have power. And it becomes a practice. And then it becomes, oh God, I don't want any of these negatives because I keep having to do eight positives. And then it becomes like the positive thinking is the first thing that comes up
Mm.
rather than the negative. But that is the part of reprogramming the brain, because it's the brain that's got all this memory along with our tissue, etc., cells structure. But the brain is remembering this. This is what's regurgitating back to us. So if we keep reprogramming it and going, no, no to negativity, even the elastic band, out to negativity, and eight positives, which can be gratitudes. That's
Mm.
something I'm grateful for, right? And then the brain will eventually get, oh, you actually feel better this way. And so this is what I'm going to deliver. But it's, practice makes perfect, right? So you've got to keep at it. No, oh,
Every
I did it one time and it didn't work. No, it's not going to work one time. You've got to stay at it until it really
every
works.
time, yeah, every time you write in your journal, put first three things is
Mm,
what you're grateful for, because that brings you joy and also allows you to love yourself because you understand that you have a good life and keeps you in positivity. And then the other thing to think about when you were talking about the unconscious mind, it processes 2 million bits per second. Whereas
I
the conscious mind,
uh-huh.
I love that it's so funny, is 126 bits per second. So it's like
Uh-huh.
your unconscious mind is a supercomputer. And I know hopefully some people understand this analogy, and your conscious mind is a dial-up. You know,
Mm.
I don't know if some kids understand that. We were here before computers, so.
Yes, where we shared the phone line, and anybody picked up the phone while you were trying to get onto the internet. Ah, yes,
But it's a huge difference. And
yeah.
and our bodies are made that way, and there's a reason for that.
Mm,
So I appreciate the unconscious mind. Just need to keep it, like you said, with positive inner thoughts and healed, releasing all of those negative emotions and those limiting beliefs that we just keep repeating in our head. So
mm.
yeah.
I call it focus on the gratitude, not the lackitude.
Oh, I like that too. Thank you.
The other thing is, I think, is understanding we're an algorithm,
Mhm.
right? Just like what you're feeding on social media, etc., what you're responding to is, then it's going to give you more of that. So what you're putting out is what you're inviting in. So if you don't like what you're getting back, put something different out.
Exactly. You attract what you are.
Mm.
Right? So even if you're attracting a new relationship and you've always been that people pleaser,
Mm-hmm.
nothing has changed, you're going to attract the same person in your life.
Yes.
And
Been there,
it's
done
taken a
that. I can
lot. Yeah,
testify to that.
a lot of us women totally understand that, but it takes working on yourself,
Yeah.
changing yourself. And that presentation out to the world will attract people who are
Mm-hmm.
at your level of emotional intelligence and
Yes.
emotional healing. So I'm single, so I'm putting myself first to be able to heal myself and make sure that who I attract is exactly the same as where I'm at and is willing to continue to work on themselves. I'm not, you know, hey, if it means that I'm single for the rest of my life, that's fine. I am happy. So that's not
Exactly.
going to bother me. But
It's nice to have somebody in your life, yes, but I certainly don't want anyone full time. Somebody to go out for dinner, go in holidays, do some things together. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't want to Einschüss, and I like my space, right? And I think it's okay to have those relationships, especially when you get older and you've passed the baby making stage, etc. You've each got your own identity, your own things, but it's then nice to come together and share those and share the us without losing the you. As my kids have said to me, Mom, you got to stop being a people pleaser because you don't choose men well.
also, they've recognized that. That's
Oh, they
quite
recognize
heavy.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, no, I've got no one in my life right now, other than my two beautiful grandsons, right? Which they fill my heart, etc. So I think how many people have you seen that have come out of a relationship, immediately gone into another one? Oh, it'll be different next time. No, it won't. He may look different, different job, different this, different that, but I promise you, you've attracted the same because you didn't change your dial.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I see there were, again, these are people that I've gotten out of my life, but I can see them kind of whispering in the background, oh, she's still single after like
Yes.
a year and a half. And I'm like, and very proud of it
Yes.
because
Choice. It's your choice.
exactly.
That's your positive living. You choose who and who is not in your life, of which you have every right to do.
I want
No
someone
judgment
who
needed.
I want someone who compliments me, who
Yes.
honors me.
Yes.
I compliment them and honor them, and there's a mutual respect,
Yes.
standing, and is on the same page. I've got some
Yep.
others little specifics that the
Yes.
universe knows. I've written it down. I've
Yeah.
shared it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that person at some point through all of the things that I'm doing and getting around people, I don't sit in my home and expect the person to
Right.
come at the front door, but I am getting out there and I know that that person will come. And that's a lot of the work as a coach that I do.
Yes.
It's helping women understand and heal themselves. I am a facilitator in doing
Mm-hmm.
that, but they have to come to that full realization themselves. I
Yeah.
love asking the right questions. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that I really I mean, when I was a kid, I would read those mystery books, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was always about how did they ask the question and they got the
Yes.
person to answer it. So I took that. I wanted to be Barbara Walters when I was young. And so all these things about interviewing people and learning people and curiosity, it stayed with me my whole life. So it's wonderful to at least come full circle in the age that I'm in and being able to do that work and really satisfy that why.
Mm. And also why you podcast,
Mhm.
right? Because in podcasting, this is what we're doing. We're in discovery of who it is we're interviewing, and through their journey, it illuminates our own life, or reflects that, oh, I didn't know. And I relate to this. I relate a little bit too much. And what do I need to do about it? My motto with the shows is listen, learn, and apply. There's always something in the podcast that has been an aha moment for you. Well, we don't want you to go walk away and forget about it. And now it's like, how do you apply it? Do you reach out to the person that's giving you that moment? What is it that you need to do in order to take action? And I think an awful lot of people have, I'll give you what the universe gave me 7 years ago. The universe is going to shake us up, to wake us up, for us to step up, change it up, and grow up vibrationally, but also grow up. We really have, as a human race, become a bunch of whiners, blaming everyone else instead of taking accountability. Shoot happens, folks. All right. Our parents didn't go out to destroy our lives. They are a reflection of their upbringing. So if we recognize something is wrong, we're the ones that need to shake the cycle because we have the accessibility to the information of how to do it today. They didn't, right?
Exactly.
We don't have any excuse.
And I give my mom a lot of credit. Obviously, she was my best friend. I loved her dearly. She went through 13 years of three different kinds of cancer.
Oh, wow.
So it was a lot of suffering. And now I understand the mind-body connection and where a lot of that came from resentment and things like that.
Mm,
Let me make my own mistakes in life.
yeah. Yeah.
When I decided not to go to school for journalism in college after high school, and the reason was going back to any kind of school was bringing back my fear of being picked on.
Mm, mm,
Didn't realize that, but it was doing it. That was what I realized many years later. She allowed me to make that mistake.
yeah.
And so that I could learn from those mistakes, I could learn from those lessons. And that was, to me, something that was pretty forward thinking.
Yes.
I have to give her so much credit for that. And while I could say, oh, she should have made me go to college, no, she allowed me to live
Yeah.
my life the way I chose
Hmm.
so then I could be my unique self and learn from those lessons.
Yes, I had a wonderful lady on yesterday, an artist whose parents didn't disown her, but didn't approve of her becoming an artist. And
Mhm.
she literally has spent her entire life being an artist, teaching art, creating art. And I said, what a gift. This is the example, folks. When you're young what your aptitude is, what calls you, what reaches out to you. And then parents come along and, no, you need to get a real job, or society says that. And that last year I put out a book, Our Forgotten Children, on how the system is wrong, breaking down and creating dysfunctional adults rather than people where we embrace the gift that they are and nurture that into being. And she's very lucky that she went against that and stayed true to the soul of her art. And this is what we're saying is that you've got a calling inside of you, right? This is where you need to listen, not to the society's expectations of what you should and should not be. And the beauty of getting older is that we look at all our faux pas and our mistakes and the cosmic two by fours and everything else we've had. And yeah, we lick our wounds and we give ourselves a hug. We have a good cry. But what did we learn from it? And how do we apply it in walking forward?
And I'll tell you, when you talked about listening to yourself as a child and what you love
Mm,
to do, I have this dream method that I put together. The very first step is discover for the D.
mm,
And it
mm.
is about, think about when you were a child and you loved to do something and lost track of time while you were doing it. Or a
Yes.
teacher said, you do this really well. You should, consider doing this for a living or whatever. You're a great artist, you're a great writer,
Hmm.
speak well in front, whatever it is, your unique talents at that age came out
Yes.
naturally. And
Yes.
someone identified it and
Mm.
we forgot.
Yes. Because we fell into the conformity and the expectation, which we know is dysfunctional. And it's not serving humanity. We have to look differently at A, the way we raise the children, and B, this expectation of what we should be. Throw away that should. It's what we allow ourselves to be, the true essence of who we really are. And when you step into that unapologetically, I am what I am, as Popeye says, right? And embrace all the love of who you are and why you're here and what you're here to do, even if you do it flawsomely with plenty of flaws, but it's awesome, right? That is what it's about. Do not compare, do not compete. Just be true to who you are. That will serve.
And the toughest part is, let's say you realize what your dream is. Now you've identified it. It's that first step.
Yes. The biggest leap is the first step, right?
And that's my whole
Yeah.
thing, right? Leaping
Yeah.
out of your comfort
Yeah.
zone is where the growth
Yes.
happens. I mean, I knew someone for 40 some odd years, and I did some breakthrough sessions. I did some work with them. I actually did a ontological assessment tool that I use, Being Profile, and it came up something I never knew about her is that she stops at challenge.
Mm,
So as soon as she felt challenged, she said, "I can't do this. That's it."
mm.
And stopped. And because I was like, "You're a great writer. I
Yeah.
love to read your books." 40 years. And
Yes.
after the work that I've done with her, she's writing two books
Yay.
and she's following her dreams. And I am lit up every time I
Mm,
talk to her and see her, and just everything is all a possibility. Everything is
hmm.
motivation. Everything is activation. Everything is changed in her whole life simply by letting go of those limiting beliefs and those thoughts that
Yes.
can't do
Which we have
something.
to do. I mean, this particular show genre is called Choose Positive Living, and that choice is yours. And you've put the positive spin on it. That doesn't mean you're negating the pain and the suffering that you've been through, but you're choosing to find the positives in it. Of what did I learn? Whereas what redirect did it put me in? How much stronger am I because of it? Right? Is looking at the good out of it. And of course, my network is called Self Discovery Wisdom. There is wisdom ready to be downloaded, and it's lying within you, waiting to be activated. And it can't do it from the brain. It has to do it from the soul, the heart, the spirit, the essence of you, the intuition, the gut of you, whatever you wish to call it. You have to feel the knowledge to understand the wisdom. And I think when we get out of our head and we trust the feeling and go with the feeling, we'll go, my God, why have I been denying myself all this for so long?
Feeling the love for yourself,
Yes.
the love for others, the
Mm,
universe, the earth,
mm.
every
Everything
animal.
changes for you, right? It
Yeah.
changes. Yes.
And part of the training that I've received and a lot of things that I've learned from people is coming from my own heart.
Yeah.
Even in business, if you have your own business, whatever it may be, might not have nothing to do with the universe and the woo-woo stuff.
Yes.
Come from your heart and from
Yeah.
a sense of vulnerability and allow yourself to share that. It's powerful. It's
Yes.
so powerful. And even though it's taken me a while to understand that, I get it now. It's
Yeah. And it's never too late. Never, never too late. And when people say to me, I don't know if they ask you, who do you interview? And I go, all those that come from the heart and have something that's going to serve somebody with their passion, their conviction, their tools, their skills, their book, their wisdom, their inspiration. Does it come from the heart? Because if it doesn't come from the heart, it's coming from an agenda. And when it comes from the heart, it's coming from truth.
Yeah. And it's so important to understand that, well, if it doesn't come from the heart, it's not something that you're going to really accomplish.
Exactly.
Remember that. If it's got other purposes, or it's usually ego driven in some way,
Yeah.
and the ego really is not something that's going to accomplish things in your life. And if it does, it's not a good place for you to be.
Ego is very, very defensive. And it's generally feeling very insecure. And that's why it screams so loud, right? It's trying to constantly defend itself. And sometimes it's the attack. So you don't attack me. And what are you defending yourself from? Right? It's that feeling of insecure, that feeling of being unworthy, that feeling of not counting, right? And it's, well, instead of attacking or saying no to things or lashing out, turn in. And you need a voice to say you are worthy, you are enough, you are loved. Say it to yourself.
Yeah, as Mel Robbins says, let them
Yeah,
feel whatever they're
yeah,
going to feel, and be confident in knowing that you're coming from your heart. You can be forgiving to them because they
yes.
may be in a different place in life. And so forgive them for what they've said, and then make your own decisions as to how you're going to react or how you're going to set boundaries to that.
And let's talk about boundaries because, as you said, like,
Mhm.
2023 and time periods, and I've done the same. you let go of people that where you feel that energy is static to you, where you feel that it's no longer cohesive or in the same rhythm. And you have to, because you've learned to be in your own flow. And you're looking for people that can resonate that flow and that frequency, the vibe tribe, right? That you look for. If somebody isn't of that vibe, it's like nails on the chalkboard, right? And it can be very painful. And it might be something that they're going through and you may reconnect later, or it may be something that you need to let go of, family or best friend, no matter what. It's not, well, I've known them for years and I feel guilty for doing this. You have to honor yourself. They're on their journey, you're on your journey. If they do not dance together, they could be detrimental to each other. So it's okay to put those boundaries in place.
Yeah, and I know that obviously I'm not a perfect person, so there are things that I did
No,
that.
you're flawsome. And all your beautiful flaws, you're awesome.
But when you're with people who are, like you said, flow in your own
Mm,
ease and flow in life, that understand and have and come with the heart and don't have those ego-driven
mm,
issues and are secure in themselves. When you make those mistakes, in fact, I had a recent where I was kind of talking too much. I get too excited and I let
me
it.
too. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And she said, hold on. She goes, you haven't let me talk for a little bit. And she was so wonderful. And she
Mm,
said, I don't want other people that you meet to have you do that and see that because I know what's inside of you that's so beautiful. And I thought that is a wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful way to tell me that this is something I need to look for when I do it and to, make
And
sure
it's
that
not a
I am not.
criticism.
No, it's
No,
a
it's the
helpful.
observation,
Mhm.
right? That's the difference, of uh, inner ego or inner child immediately, oh, it's criticism. All right. And you want to go in the defense. But when it's an observation, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I did that. Thank you for helping me be aware.
And it's coming from a good place.
Yes.
It's coming from, I want to help you be
Mm,
able to be open to good people that are coming into your life.
yeah,
I want you to present your best self. And I'm just letting you know that in this particular instance, for this period, in this moment in our conversation, it wasn't necessarily your best self. Thank you.
yeah.
I'm always open to that
Mhm.
from the right people
From the right people and with the
with the
right.
right intentions.
Right,
Oh,
that's it. Yes, exactly, exactly. Um, because where are they coming from? If it's in your best interest and they really do care, and then that's what you're receiving, right? And it's that again, that awareness. If it's coming from people that are wanting to put you down to raise themselves up, then it's a totally different feeling altogether. And I do an awful lot of interviews of people who have autism, and there's various different spectrums of autism, but a lot of the autistic people, maybe in the past they would have called it Asperger's. Now it's just autism in a different spectrum. But many of them I've interviewed are incredibly creative and focused on what they're creative about. They're very selective of the people they have around them, right? They've got to be the right energy. They know they're not secure in big crowds or this or that, so they don't do it. They don't put themselves in places where they feel insecure and jeopardized. And they know when they're confident and they've got there how to ask for help or say, no, it's too much. I think there's so much for us to learn from that, right? Why are we
oh,
not
and
doing it for ourselves? Yeah.
that's exactly while you were speaking, I was like, everyone should be like that.
Yes,
And to think that their disability is a detriment to them,
exactly. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure on that. They also say that autistic children at certain levels can even communicate telepathically. I'm reading
absolutely.
about that.
Mm.
Fascinating, almost like an advancement of our being, of our consciousness.
Yeah, oh,
They have an
absolutely.
advanced consciousness.
And that's where we're meant to be. This is the invitation for us to rise up to be to that level where we feel each other's essence before we even open our eyes or mouths, right? And that symphony of that energy that then is so transcending, that's where we're meant to be. And I think the reason why we're seeing so many people with just challenges. I don't like to, I'm differently abled. I prefer to call them not disabled. I have a differently labeled grandson who has Down syndrome. And I know he's going to have challenges in life. And I know he's going to be slower to develop. But he is pure, pure joy. He is pure, pure joy. And the gift that he's going to give us and the people around him is the fact that he will always choose joy. If he's unhappy or he's angry, it'll be in the moment. Then it'll be forgotten and he's back in joy again. Right. And that is just something for us to emulate ourselves. Why are we choosing the drama when we could be choosing the joy?
Goes back to learning and
Mm,
lessons from the people in your lives.
yeah.
Yeah. And bringing, I'm sure he's very positive and teaches you to continue to bring that positivity and
Hmm.
light into your own life simply
Hmm.
by having this ball of joy and positivity that you're communicating with. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and he's a Nana boy. Every time he sees Nana, arms open. And I have a almost a 4-year-old grandson too, and we have a wonderful rapport. But he's in the wonderment stage of life, and it's wonderful going down that wonderment stage with him. We take our stuffings and go around the world and discover things and outer space or different countries. We play cards, we do this or that, and it's wonderful to step into their world. We think that as adults, everybody's got to step into our world. No, step into their world. There's so much to be revealed.
I think they call it like the beta period before
Mm.
7 years old. Think about it when you're doing beta testing, right?
Yes.
You're taking in all the information and learning and adjusting, and so their personality is getting created, and they're learning and how they learn and their curiosity. Oh, I
I
mean,
know.
because I didn't have children, I hate the fact that I don't have a child that I could have seen and experienced that with, or grandchildren.
Hmm.
However, there are other people's children, and I love
Yes,
that. What a great treat and gift that you have with that.
I do. I definitely do. And there's another one on the way. So that's going to be even more exciting. And I think this is the thing, going back to gratitude or lackitude. You can look at something and say, I don't have, or you can say, but look what I have.
That's true.
Right. And it's like focus on what you do have. The lackitude becomes something a little less. Okay, if there's still something nagging at you that you would really like to have, what are you going to do in that positive attitude to go and get it?
Yeah. Yeah. And being aware of where
Mm,
you're at and where you're going and what you want is understanding all of that and bringing that, understanding what needs to come into your life.
yes.
Because until I became aware of the people that was wrong in my life,
Right.
I didn't become aware of what people would be right to come into my life.
Yes.
And once that
Yes.
I let go of the negative and purged, oh my gosh, the universe gave me such wonderful people in my life that have
Yeah.
very close friends and I spend time with, and we have a good time, and we really support each other in a really positive way. I am rich with that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love my life. I love myself now.
Mm,
It's a great feeling. Hey, there are things that I struggle with every
yeah.
day. None of us
Yeah.
are perfect, but I have the tools, I feel,
Mm,
to be able to deal with it. And then I love giving those tools to other people.
yeah. Exactly. Um, I believe that the true commerce of life is when we're enriched and abundant in our purpose and in our joy of life. And you've definitely found your enrichment and your abundance, which resonates out of you. And I think we then look at the material, we look at the dollar. They are tools to help us on our journey of life. But that tool, soul, spirit, heart, essence, enrichment, and abundance is, again, use the word transcending. It just takes you into a different plane where you do attract different people, where you do live in a different existence. And the people that don't get you don't approach you. And that's okay, they're not ready. You need to be here for the people that are ready for you. You could be an illumination of light for someone who would like you. You're their inspiration. You're their invitation to take the journey to be as illuminating as you are. But you can't help anyone. I've got the sunny side of the street. You're on the sunny side of the street. But until somebody comes out of the dark, actually onto the middle road, right? Onto the road and say, I need help. I'm willing to work with you. Now you can help them. You can't go into the dark and get them. It has to be free will. It has to be their choice to want to go through the process. And when they're ready, as they say, when the student is ready, the teacher is there. So they've got to be willing to do the work and surrender.
That's a big deal. That's a
Yes.
big deal. I mean, and I'll know usually by the first call where we're just
Mm,
connecting and getting to know each other as to whether they are open. Now,
mm,
it's still a learning process for me
hmm.
to know, because I've made a couple mistakes, or one in particular where the person wasn't ready and I thought they were. Well, they told me they were excited and ready. So, part of what I need to do is really read the person from the inside.
Yes.
Really take each word and almost the way they look and act
Mm,
much more seriously to understand if they're actually ready. Because you're right. Even when I do some hypnotherapy, if a person doesn't want to be hypnotized or doesn't want to do something, it's not going to happen. No matter
hmm
what you think, being
Yeah.
young it's just not going to happen. If you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. But if you're open to making the changes and open to bettering yourself and your inner self and just changing your life, then it's a gift. You have to think
Yes.
about it this way. Allow people to help you because
hmm
it's a gift to them to help you. You're giving them a gift.
hmm
We all enjoy helping others. That's a gift. So give them the gift of helping you.
Yeah. Exactly. And also, you'll have some people that are ready to get in first, second, third, fourth gear. I'm ready. And then you've got other people. I'm ready to get into second, third gear. I'm not quite ready to go to fourth. And that's okay. They need longer at certain stages to go through the process or to the undoing of the unprogramming and to be confident enough to get up into that other gear. And you've got some people in 60 days, you'll be this and you'll be that. No, we are not by numbers. Don't paint us by numbers. You have to meet us where we're at. And again, inspire us and invite us to move forward because we feel confident in ourselves to do so. We feel confident in you to show us the path. And so if we don't meet people where they're at and encourage them and make them feel confident enough they can move forward, we could be a detriment if we push them too soon, right?
Right. And that's why when I start with a new client, there are things and steps that I'm going to do in a certain amount of hours and sessions and things like that. But I'm not going to designate it to be this every week. I'm not even
Right.
going to designate I'm going to allow the whole process to unfold as it should. Now,
hmm
if they need to be pushed a little bit,
Yes.
because they are not taking that step, then that's going to happen. But I really do, I like the uniqueness of feeling
Mm,
when we should meet and, letting me know how you feel and how is this all comfortable? And so all of that, you're right. It's very important because a lot of people, okay, in 60 days, we're
yeah.
done. And then I'm going to let you
Yeah.
go.
No,
No,
doesn't work that way. Sorry.
no.
And also, back to the big word, the vulnerability,
Mm.
right? And it's like the greatest gift you can give anyone in life is your vulnerability because you're giving it in trust, right? So you're giving this in trust to someone's giving it in trust to you. You are honoring that vulnerability. And one has to look at it as the basic, you kind of got somebody's soul there that you're healing and as you said, meet them where they're at. It's a process. Some people will go for it quicker, or they may get to a certain stage very fast and then hit a plateau. We all do, right? And it's like, okay, you're not dismissed now, right? You need to deal with this now before we move any further forward. And that's the important thing, I think, is understanding as human beings. There is no wrong or right way per se, right? It's you've got to do what you feel and we don't want you to feel so comfortable that you're complacent and you don't make an effort, right? But we want you to feel comfortable in your vulnerability to feel confident enough to move forward.
Be open.
Yes.
That's a big deal. Just be
Mm,
open
mm,
to the feelings that come along. We'll deal with them as they come along. Where your healthy and unhealthy relationships are with these feelings, but be open.
yes.
Allow your unconscious mind to speak for you. Allow me to tap into that.
hmm
Answer honestly. There's the vulnerability. I've struggled with vulnerability my entire life. And I want to write a book about it because I feel like my journey is people can relate to it.
yeah.
And there's been a lot of books written, but I almost feel like writing about it is
You
going to
must.
be my
Yes,
way.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. It will resonate with people that it resonate with. People say, well, it's been done before. Yes, but that was that person's perspective. This is yours, and it's going to resonate with people that are going through the same thing, that relate to it. So, yes, it's again permission to do so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kick you up the butt there. Um, so, do you work with people purely physically one on one, or do you work through, through Zoom or other mediums? How do you work?
So most of it is Zoom because a lot of my clients are from Canada and through the whole United States. I have a few clients that are local that I have in my garage, which I have a nice setup in there, a nice room, couch and everything. But most of them are through Zoom. Yeah.
Excellent. It's all about that, as you said, when you're ready. Um, that readiness and that willingness to take that first leap, that step forward. I am unhappy where I'm at. I need to move forward. I am ready to take it. I'm shaking. I'm vulnerable. I'm insecure, but I'm willing to trust and take that journey one step at a time. And if you're not willing to do it, you're not going to get the results. But find that courage and strength within you to do so.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it takes, that first step. And it's allowing someone to help you.
Yes, exactly. So, um, having said that, how do people get hold of you? What is the process? Do they start with a phone call? How does it work, love?
So I am ladieswholeap.com, Leap, and it has buttons. I love to set up a call first to explore what they're struggling with. Hopefully, I can even help them very quickly with something and understanding how comfortable we are with each other and starting with that first call, and then I'll craft and talk to them about what they would like to have going forward and prices and all that kind of stuff. I do have a dream page, and I'm starting to open up doing group programs with that
Hmm.
dream method so that a lot of times community is so important.
Mm.
So when you work
Yes,
with a bunch of women going through the same steps and wanting to find their purpose and passion, I'm in the beginning stages of getting that going. So yes, click on that page, but there's buttons all over. Let's connect buttons and just
yeah,
click on one and set up an appointment when you're free and I'm free because it's a calendar, so it's easy. Yeah.
right, excellent.
And then I
So,
do have, oh, sorry.
yes, you have your podcast, Ladies Elite Podcast.
Ladies Who Leap podcast. And then I also have a leapwithconfidence.com.
Mm,
And that is three videos at your own pace. You've decided to take a leap, but you are a little apprehensive. It's directions and steps and helpful hints on how to take that leap with confidence.
excellent. So, Ladies Who Leap, folks, for those who are listening, it's ladies, Ladies, WHOLAP.
LEA,
Leap.com. And of course, so on TikTok, you're Lisa Coach, on Instagram,
Lisa A,
Lisa Coach.
Lisa
Hmm?
A coach. Yeah.
Lisa A Coach, and then Facebook, Lisa Andrea, and then on YouTube, Ladies Who Leap. So, oh no, yeah, because what you got to look at when you're looking at the whole who leap is the E is in the leap. So just to make sure you know that, folks. So
Like you're taking a leap of faith.
exactly, and that's the thing is that we've been invited as ladies to leap, to stop being so suppressed, to stop being under that dictation of basically the male dominance for centuries. And it's now time for us, with our common sense and our love, to come forth and step up and stand out and be the solution that is so desperately needed. But it starts with you doing it for yourself. We need you to be you and the gift that you are with the meaningful purpose that you have to share.
We
And
are being awakened,
we're
and we need to
so
take
being
advantage
awakened.
of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that awakening is something that is is so desperately needed, not only in our own lives, but in the world right now.
Yeah.
And it's very, very much needed. And I want you to start with you. You don't need permission to love yourself. You have to give yourself permission to love yourself. You don't need somebody else to verify, validate, or justify you. You're the one that does that, not measured by other people's expectation, but measured on who you are from the inside out. Everything is an inside out. Everything is inside out. And when you go in, you go, I've been carrying this load of garbage for a whole long time and it's weighing me down. It's time to get rid of it. And when you do, oh boy, right? Oh boy, how much lighter and freer, and the things you see and the things you experience and the people that you meet and the transformation that happens in your life. It just really is wonderful. But got to do the work, right?
Yep. Yep. It's not magic.
No.
But there
Now,
are so many people that can help you,
yeah,
and they love doing it and they want to help you.
it may be not magic, but it is magical in the transformation.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. So, ladies who leap, come on, take that leap, right? Listen to our podcast. It's on, is it Popcorn or Podbean?
Podbean, but it's in all platforms. Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Please listen to it. I'm going to be on myself in May, and there's got lots of wonderful people there because you never know what you're going to hear. That's going to be something that you listen to, that you learn to now that you can apply, right? And we're here for you. We're here for you. Lisa's here for you. Make that phone call, have that chat, see if there's that synergy. Don't try and do it on your own. I did. It's hard. You need somebody along there with you that encourages you, directs you, throws their arms around you, virtually or non, and just is there for you. And that's so very important. So thank you so much for sharing with us today, Lisa.
Thank you. This has been a fantastic conversation, Sarah. I love our synergy and
Mm,
both think it's just wonderful to have a conversation with very like-minded and synergetic people. I love it.
yep. We're in the soul vibration. Yep, we are. And through that, our essence and our resonance, transforms out there. And this is the invitation, folks. We hope we've been inspiring, but we are inviting you to step up and stand out in your own life. So thank you so very much, Lisa, and to everyone else out there. Until next time. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.